Have you ever felt like something is deeply wrong? Like the ones who should be the most faithful are drifting away? Today we're diving into the reasons no one dares to talk about. The real reasons why God's chosen are leaving the church. Hello, my dear ones. I'm Sister Amelia, and today we're tackling an urgent and profound topic. Before we dive in, let me ask you, have you ever known someone who decided to leave the church, even though they were deeply committed? Share your experience in the comments below. If this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to comment "just got here" below and subscribe to the channel for daily messages. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. Your presence here means the world to us. Today we're going deep into a topic that has been stirring in the hearts of many Christians. Why are the chosen ones, those who have always been strong in their faith, walking away from the church? It's a sensitive issue, but it's one we need to address. Stay with me until the end, because I truly believe God has something special to say to you today. When we start hearing stories about Christians stepping away from their congregations, especially those who have always been pillars of faith, we can't ignore it. It's never an easy decision for someone who loves God, which is why it's so important to understand what's really going on. And remember, if anything I say resonates with you, drop a comment below. One of the first reasons that stands out is spiritual disconnection. Many Christians share that while they attend church regularly, they feel like something vital is missing. The service, which should be a time of fellowship and spiritual renewal, has started to feel more like a formality. They feel God's presence in their personal lives, but not in the community where they're supposed to grow stronger. If you've ever felt this way, type in the comments, "I'm seeking deeper connection." This disconnection often gets worse because of a lack of authenticity in church relationships. Some members complain that the church has become a place where appearances are valued more than the essence of faith. There's too much focus on following rules and protocols and not enough room for sharing vulnerabilities, doubts, and struggles. And what about judgment? How often do we see Christians judging one another instead of extending grace? Jesus called us to love one another as he loved us, but many are finding criticism instead of compassion. This is one of the biggest reasons people seeking genuine relationships with God and the church community are turning away. Have you ever felt judged in church? Comment "I've been there" below, and let's create a safe space to talk about it. Another reason we can't overlook is the lack of relevance. We're living in challenging times where people face complex issues at work, in relationships, and even with their mental health. Many Christians are looking for answers to these challenges, but feel that the church isn't addressing these topics in a practical and meaningful way. This lack of relevance is also reflected in how the church communicates. While the world is changing rapidly, some congregations stick to methods and messages that no longer meet people's real needs. This can make those seeking spiritual guidance feel like there's no place for them. If you agree that the church needs to become more relevant, hit the like button on this video so we can show that this is a real need. And then there's the pressure for perfection. How many Christians feel crushed under the weight of impossible standards. This idea that we have to be perfect to be accepted by God completely contradicts the gospel, a message of grace and redemption. Many are leaving the church because they've lost faith, but because they feel they can't live up to those unrealistic expectations. Write in the comments, God accepts me as I am, and let's declare this truth together. Finally, let's talk about emotional exhaustion. Many of the chosen ones are leaders or volunteers who've given years of their lives to serving the church. But they often feel like their dedication goes unnoticed and unappreciated. They reach a point of burnout with no emotional or spiritual support and end up stepping away to find healing outside of the very place that should provide it. Another important point is the desire for a more direct connection with God. Some people leave the church because they feel they can cultivate their spirituality more authentically outside of an organized congregation. They haven't abandoned their faith. They're simply exploring ways to live it that align more closely with their personal and intimate experiences with God. If you believe your connection with God can go beyond the church walls, comment, I seek God everywhere. As we move forward, I want you to reflect on everything we've discussed so far. Have any of these reasons ever crossed your mind? Do you know someone who's experiencing this? Share this video with them. Maybe they need to hear these words today. What's heartbreaking is that many who leave the church end up being misunderstood. Instead of being welcomed in their doubts and pain, they face even more judgment and isolation. This only reinforces their decision not to return. And that's why we need to talk openly about these issues. If you've ever felt misunderstood right here, I know what that's like. I believe God is calling us to reflect on what it truly means to be the church. It's not about a building or a set of rules. It's about people, community, love, and faith. We need to reclaim these values before more of God's chosen ones feel pushed to leave. Like this video, if you believe we can change this reality. When we add all of this up, we see that the problem isn't faith in God. It's how the church has failed to represent His love. This is a call to action for all of us. If we want the church to remain a place of hope and restoration, we need to ask ourselves, how can we be the change we want to see? I invite you to reflect on this today and share in the comments what you believe needs to change in the church. Your voice matters. God is working even through these struggles. Let's trust in His purpose. My dear brother, my dear sister, if you feel that these reasons resonate with you, know that God has not abandoned you. Don't let frustration with people extinguish your faith. Remember, we are the church, and change begins with each of us. If this video touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Like it. And let's discuss your thoughts in the comments. Together, we can bring back the essence of the pure and simple gospel. Stay with God, and I'll see you in the next video.